Today on Wildlife Nation Expedition Florida, we embark on an epic journey into the incredible world of manatees. From their stunning, imperiled underwater habitats to a critical rescue.
This side in. I want you guys in. Go.
We work alongside the dedicated heroes striving to protect these amazing mammals.
This is a very urgent story. This is Roberta, and she was profoundly injured.
I'm Jeff Corwin. Wildlife Nation is dedicated to conserving the natural wonders of North America. And now, we're teaming up with the Miccosukee tribe of Indians of Florida to safeguard the vibrant wilderness of the Sunshine State. We'll explore this region's diverse landscapes and extraordinary creatures as we work alongside the passionate conservationists dedicated to protecting them. This is Wildlife Nation Expedition Florida. The Miccosukee tribe of Indians of Florida have long been stewards for their ancestral lands in the Everglades, where I've been privileged to witness many marvels of nature, from the powerful alligator.
That is a big gator.
To the elusive amphiuma.
I have waited half a century for this moment.
To the vibrant Osceola turkey that roam freely.
This is the only place where you can find the Osceola.
These encounters are a testament to the tribe's commitment to preserve the natural world. But today, we go beyond the river of grass on a journey to the crystal clear springs that are critical to the survival of Florida manatees.
It is a glorious morning here on the pristine Silver River. I'm with Monica Ross, and she's a biologist with Clearwater Marine Aquarium, their research institute. Her passion, manatees. What are we going to do today?
Today we're going to go up the river and hope we will find some manatees.
Monica has some incredible technology aboard that we're going to use to better understand the connection that manatees have to this amazing ecosystem. So let's go find a manatee. Let's do it.
Let's go find them.
The goal of Monica's important research is to identify which manatees are drawn to these waters and why. By employing photo documentation and comparisons with other warm water refuges, she aims to determine the factors influencing manatee migration patterns. Her work is key to solving migration mysteries and guiding efforts to protect these amazing creatures.
One of them is named Osaka. I can tell because of the scar pattern.
So what's interesting, and we've seen this with a lot of the conservation research projects with manatees, is distinctively they have their own fingerprint, but unfortunately it's from boat strikes.
I'm not sure who the other one is. It's got a lot of scarring on the tail, so it looks like cold stress.
When you think of Florida, what you probably don't think is a wool hat. It's about 45 degrees, but this water temperature is
72 degrees.
They need that warm water to survive. Unlike other marine-type mammals that live in the water, like walruses and sea lions, they don't have the luxury of thick blubber.
They get cold just like we do. They'll start turning white, and pieces of them will actually fall off, just like our fingers will if you get frostbite.
Oh my goodness.
Parts of their tail will eventually die off because they don't have blood flow.
So we have this kind of stay in the line sort of thing right here.
Yes.
So we can actually mark where we're seeing the distinctive patterns.
All right, so go ahead and put this in the water just below the surface.
Okay.
And you can kind of point it towards the animal. And while you're pointing, very slowly go up and down and side to side.
So this is a great way to not only get underwater identification, but it also allows us in real time to assess the body condition, the health of this animal.
As we continue, Monica and I encounter numerous beautiful manatees.
So if you notice, he just turned to us.
Right.
We are 30 feet away, and he's already noticed us.
Each manatee reveals unique aspects for their struggle for survival.
I think what's so fascinating about manatees is their evolutionary journey.
One of their closest living relative is an elephant. So they actually are an animal that went from land back into the water.
So that's Divine, and she's pregnant.
Yes.
It's great to see that she's pregnant. She has another calf that's floating around. Gotta love manatees. Amazing. To be here in this moment, surrounded by manatees, they're healthy, they're feasting away. It gives you hope. But manatees face incredible challenges to survive. Right now, we may have lost 20% of our native population of Florida manatees. What are the struggles today?
Unfortunately, the primary thing today is the fact that the amount of food that they have in the wild has diminished. I mean, it's primarily due to some type of algal bloom that has caused the vegetation to die off. What's causing the die-off of vegetation is associated with human activity.
Without that food, these manatees can starve to death. They need to eat how much percentage of their body weight a day?
At least 10% of their body weight a day.
150 pounds of food every day. They are losing habitat, issues of pollution, and boat strikes. You take all that together, it's a lot of pressure on these animals. But thankfully, because of groups like Clearwater, Save the Manatee, all these other amazing groups with the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission, U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, everyone is coming together as a team because Florida would not be Florida without the manatee.
Coming up, our journey takes an unexpected turn as we race to save a young manatee in serious trouble.
As soon as that guy's out, I think we'll be good.
Today, we're working alongside biologist Andy Garrett and his team from Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission, or FWC. The FWC is dedicated to managing fish and wildlife resources for their long-term well-being and the benefit of all people. We're here because a young manatee, possibly separated from its mother, is in serious trouble and needs to be rescued.
Once we get that target animal down this run, we're gonna close the front end. We're gonna sweep the animal up here, get it into a stretcher, and then get into our truck.
All right, so we have snorkelers in the water. They're gonna carefully encourage this creature to come here. Together, we're gonna move like a ballet. That's synchronized. Get this animal where it needs to be and on its way to recovery.
Sounds good, let's go.
We gently move in and carefully set up the net. Since there are many manatees in the water, we have to be strategic and only capture the sick calf while not interfering with the other animals.
Just him by himself, because it's not gonna work if you bring a bunch of manatees with them.
The snorkelers attempt to corral our manatee into position, but it's like herding underwater cats.
There's an animal right here in front of us.
Yeah, as soon as that guy's out, I think we'll be good.
Soon, it's time to close the net.
All right, once he comes through, I'll start pulling. Let him go a little further. Did you see him?
That's our manatee right
That's our manatee. Take that too, yeah. You guys take that rope. Okay, everybody kind of start collapsing. You guys go inside. Yep, CMA, go ahead and go inside. Stop on your side, Mike. Everybody stop. Let's get this side in. I want you guys in. Go. Floats in. Stop. All that net's got to go up, and we need to fire hose it up. Slowly walk backwards.
Are you right here? Okay, thanks.
Let's stop here. Let me get that stretcher.
You can really see
So he's got
how it takes a village of people from all walks of life.
Right next to Carrie.
Everyone here, we're all different, but what we share in common is we love manatees. We want them to thrive. We've come together with this young manatee, which is in trouble, but now it will have a chance to survive.
We all carefully slide the calf onto a stretcher. Then the sick animal is moved into a truck that will take the creature to our conservation partner, the medical team at SeaWorld that will attempt to save it.
You can see right here, it's got some scarring, probably from a boat strike.
Yes, it's been hit a couple times, unfortunately.
And you can also see that its condition isn't great. It's lost weight.
Yes. Yep. You guys ready to go in? So we put a thermal blanket on it, just to keep it warm. Again, coming out of that water in the wintertime. A lot of people think to keep them wet, which works really well in the summertime when they're hot, but when they're cold, keeping them wet actually, they lose their heat.
So, no time to waste. We need to get this beautiful manatee back on the road to recovery, and we need to continue our incredible Expedition Florida adventure.
Up next, we dive into the critical efforts of manatee habitat restoration.
When there's no food for the manatees end up starving.
We're on on an epic odyssey into the world of manatees with the Miccosukee tribe of Indians of Florida. These serene and majestic inhabitants of Florida's rivers and coasts are facing unprecedented challenges, from habitat loss to the dangers of boat strikes. Their survival hangs in a delicate balance. So, I've come to the beautiful Crystal River, where an extraordinary conservation effort is underway.
Friends, our amazing manatee adventure has brought us to beautiful Crystal River. Now, Jessica, people from around the world come here to witness manatees. Why is this so important?
Crystal River is a safe haven for the manatees. It's a spring-fed system, it's protected, it's warm, there's food for them year-round, and people come from all over the world to interact with them, be in the water, get face-to-face with them.
Which is pretty incredible, and of course, very strict rules, federally, state-wise, when it comes to being around manatees. But you could come here and witness these incredible creatures. The key to survival for manatees is healthy, robust habitat. Then you get healthy, robust manatee populations. Kenny, what are we going to be doing today?
Today we're going to be vacuuming up some of the muck that's on the bottom now because the hurricane that came through here brought in a lot of salt water and killed a lot of the grass. And that's when Jessica's team come in and grow the grass back for the manatees.
So basically, we're doing restoration. So this is not only impacted by human activity, but environmental activity. And with the changing Florida, changing climate, increasing storms, more devastating storms, even in a place like this, we'll get a storm surge of seawater, kills off the grasses that aren't meant for that salty water, and the manatees run out of food. And recently, we've had die-offs of manatees because they were literally starving to death. But this material that we pull out, that's also a part of the story, isn't it?
It is. It's full of nutrients. And after it's been dried out, we actually take it to a local farm, and they're able to use it as fertilizer to create lots and lots of nutrients in that soil. It's a full circle process.
Kenny, ready?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's do this.
Rather than traditional dive tanks, we're using a compressor system so air is continuously fed to us when we're underwater. We suit up and dive on in. The water is murky, a testament to the ongoing restoration efforts in this area. It's a stark contrast to the serene environment we're working to achieve. We operate this specialized equipment used for gently vacuuming the muck that's accumulated on the riverbed. As we carefully suck up the sediment, the riverbed starts to reveal its true potential. And that's where Jessica's work comes in.
I think the big lesson when it comes to ensuring that manatees survive for the future, it's all about healthy habitat. And sometimes you have to restore that habitat. So we've been a part of lifting up all that muck and detritus off the substrate where grass can grow. Now it's time to plant some of that grass. How are we going to do that?
Well, this is eelgrass. This is the basis of a healthy ecosystem here.
What happens when this resource, this grass, collapses in this ecosystem?
Well, Jeff, when there's no food for the manatees end up starving.
And that's really what has brought this collaborative together. Teams of people from all corners, the business community, NGOs, federal, state organizations, with a mission to ensure that this habitat is thriving so the manatees can survive. And how are we going to get this grass growing in this river?
We're going to jump in the water. We're going to go to some selected nursery sites. We're going to plant this grass, and we're going to get a healthy eelgrass bed established.
It's clear that with this restoration work, we're not just revitalizing this underwater environment, we're preserving the biodiversity of this aquatic ecosystem for future generations. Below us, we find a spot, a sandy patch in the riverbed that's about to become the foundation of new life. This simple act might seem modest against the backdrop of murky waters, but it's a critical step in restoring the iconic Crystal River. Soon, with these restoration efforts and a little luck, this area will transform into a vibrant seagrass bed once again, a home to manatees where they can feed, rest, survive, and thrive for years to come. Next up, we join a dedicated team on their mission to heal sick and injured manatees.
This beautiful little manatee calf right here, this is Sable.
as we continue our epic journey across the Sunshine State, learning about the manatees and the concerted efforts to save this remarkable species, we find ourselves at a pivotal spot, Zoo Tampa. This very special conservation center stands as a beacon of hope, dedicated to the rescue, rehabilitation, and release of injured and sick manatees.
We're at the David A. Strauss Manatee Critical Care Center. This beautiful little manatee calf right here, this is Sable, named after the harbor where she was rescued in Florida. Left to the wild devices of Florida, she would not have survived. She was orphaned. But here, she's getting that chance to survive. She is thriving. Sable has a lot of attitude, as you can see.
Yes.
We're taking these measurements, Jamie, because?
We want to just track her progression. So manatees out in the wild, they gain about 1 pound a day in terms of weight, but these just help track her progress. So we're expecting her to get bigger as she ages, and we just want to make sure that she is growing as she should.
And when do you think we'll get her back in the wild?
Usually 2 years from now. So
2 years.
Orphan calves
Wow.
stay the longest. Out in the wild, they stay with their mom for about 1.5 years or 2 years. They learn all those life skills, where to eat, where to go to find warmer water in the winter months. And then when she gets to go back home to Florida waters, she'll be put in a warm water site, the nearest location to her rescue.
So it started out rather bleak for Sable, but the great news is she is thriving. She's got gumption, and in a couple of years, she'll be back out into wild Florida.
This winter alone, the center has been a refuge for over 30 manatees. In a world where the manatee population is counted by the thousands, not millions, each individual's survival is crucial.
So this is a very urgent story. This is Roberta, and she was profoundly injured. You can see this cut line right there where she was hit by a propeller. You can see that cut in her back. She has damage to her tail, which could have been from a cold snap. And right here, my goodness, fishing line?
This injury was quite significant, so far deep that we could actually feel her bone when she first came in. We are the #1 threat to manatees, unfortunately.
She is very critical at this moment, but we're hopeful that, through our care, she can gain back her health and then hopefully be released someday.
The vet team is using diagnostics and weekly treatments, including antibiotics, to heal her. Next, we use a feeding tube to provide nutrients to Roberta, listening for stomach sounds to ensure it's been properly slid into place. We administer a nutrient-packed romaine smoothie.
So while Roberta's getting her medication, it gives us a chance to peer into the world of manatees. Today, we see a creature evolved for an aquatic life. But when you look close, just about every square inch, you see an individual strand of hair. When you look at the flipper, you can actually see Stacy fingernails on their flipper. Pretty cool.
Like they have better nails than I do.
But you can also see their modern adaptation for a life in the water. Teeny tiny little eyes, nostrils that come with their own plug to keep the water out. These hairs, they're not for insulation. They won't keep a manatee warm. But Stacy, these little hairs perform a very important tactility function, don't they?
Yeah. Yep, it helps them feel their surroundings.
We have a lot of hope for Roberta. We're gonna do our best to get her back in the wild. But the great news is coming up, a manatee that has a big surprise coming to it.
Coming up, one of these beautiful manatees is finally returning to the wild.
There she goes.
Today, we're at Zoo Tampa for a momentous event. We're loading a fully recovered Florida manatee onto a truck, preparing this amazing creature for its journey back to the wild.
So guys, I told you we had an incredible surprise here. It's all about this amazing manatee right here. This is Roz. She showed up here 8 months ago on death's door. She had lesions all over her skin. She was incredibly sick, but this amazing team got her back to health. She's recovered, she's thriving, and today, she's going home, and we're going along for the ride. 1, 2, 3. Okay, my friends, this is the moment that we've waited for. Our journey began in the river of grass with the Miccosukee tribe of Indians of Florida. It brings us full circle here on the waters, close to one of my favorite places, Homosassa Spring. I can't think of a better way to wrap up this adventure, to watch Ross go home. All right, let's do it.
Let's do it.
There she goes.
Right.